So when it comes to death predictions for a new season, and especially for a new show in Force, it really is difficult to predict who could die. But now that we're going into episode 9 and 10, I'm sure we can expect a lot of death, violence, action, and a cliffhanger going into season 2, as there always is in Power. So we're going to look at death predictions from Tommy's side, the Flynns, and the CBI. But starting with Tommy, something I mentioned a while ago was how everything has gone right so far, apart from Jannard who wants to kill him for obvious reasons. And then there's Claudia who made 2 moves behind his back. But so far in terms of death, we've seen Jannard lose Elijah, and Vic's now lost Simon and Gloria. Claudia herself has killed 2 that were close to her, with Mai and Reggie. There's also been a lot of Serbian death, but Tommy's the only one who's not suffered a loss so far in Chicago.
We both buried on our side. Who the fuck you drop a rose for?
And it really is a good question. Who did Tommy drop a rose for? Well, there's Ghost, Lakeisha, Holly, and countless others, but very similar to how Kane was underestimating Tariq, not knowing his history and what he's been through. Jannard doesn't know Tommy's past and history, and exactly what he's been through because he's been through hell and back. And we as the audience definitely know how much pain and loss he suffered. But linking this back in with my character analysis video of Tommy, where I said the stakes are going to be even higher, because he's gone from having nothing to lose to now having everything to lose in JP and DMAC, and I really can't help but think we are going to see a death on Tommy's side just to shake things up and change the dynamics. So with that being said, let's start with Egan. Now we all know they've been building for a return, because with JP digging into the past and looking for answers, it really was only a matter of time. So we saw her return in episode 8 when JP made the call, and I don't think it was Tommy who gave JP Kate's number, because there is just no way Tommy wants to dig up the past, and he even warned JP before, Kate isn't royalty, and he got out ahead on this one. But with Grandma Miriam Egan dying, I think we could see a funeral and Kate actually coming over to Chicago, and when she does, could something happen to Kate? For example OD or get caught in a crossfire. So Kate Egan is one to watch. But let's talk about the person who called Kate, and that was JP. And we all know JP wanted in on Tommy's organization, and reluctantly Tommy accepted, but put him in a position where he keeps JP off the streets and out of harm's way. So he's got him cooking in the labs, but it doesn't mean that JP is not in trouble, because once you're in the game, there is no exit, and this is how you either end up dead or in jail, by dropping your guard and getting greedy and comfortable. But I'm sure Tommy will do everything to protect JP, and making him a cook and putting him to work in the labs will keep him out of harm's way, for now anyway. But what about DMAC? Because he's gone from working with the CBI and Jannard to now Team Tommy, because he realized who Jannard was when he was making his plan to go behind Diamond's back. He also saw Elijah's death, and he was also cut off from the deal with Marshall's cousin in Gary. And now that Tommy has realized that DMAC is his nephew, this really is the game-changing moment for Tommy in Chicago, because we all know how big of a heart Tommy has for family, and I guess you could say family is his weakness. Because as Law 33 from the 48 Laws of Power says, everyone has a thumbscrew, you just need to find it. So DMAC and JP will be Tommy's, and this is why he doesn't want anyone else finding out that JP is his brother, but he is trusting Liliana. But just like JP, I can see Tommy putting DMAC to work, either in the labs to reconnect with his father, or in a cash house, because he is good with numbers, and this is how Tommy can make use of DMAC's mathematical mind. But DMAC will also remind Tommy of Tariq. But the difference being is, DMAC grew up in the streets, but this is why Tommy will want to keep him close. He'll want to protect him at all costs, and make sure he doesn't end up dead or in jail. But DMAC is someone who I think is in the long haul for Force, and someone who can really grow, learn, and eventually becoming Tommy's right-hand man. But Tommy at this moment has a right-hand woman, who's Liliana, so let's talk about Liliana next.
I've been slashed, suffocated, beaten, burned, busted bones. I'm resilient as a motherfucker.
And this is why it's going to be tough to kill someone like Liliana, because she's been battered, bruised, burned, suffered broken bones, and also shot, but she is still standing, and she's also got an important part to play in Tommy's organization. She's also someone who has nothing to lose, and as Tommy said earlier on Force, you never bet against someone who has nothing to lose, so I do think we're going to see Liliana making it to season 2 at least. And she is the only person besides Dr. Williams who knows how to make Dahlia, so she really is important to Tommy's organization in more ways than one. But what about Dr. Williams? Because we've seen Liliana hint before, they may have to deal with her, but Tommy refused because she was the only one who was able to make Dahlia. But if they were going to kill Dr. Williams, her loss may not be felt as it once would have, because it seems like Liliana is able to cook Dahlia as well, because we saw her teaching JP. So again, this is another person from Tommy's side who could bite the dust in episode 9 or 10. But rewinding it back to the beginning, as I said, everything has fallen Tommy's way so far, but now the stakes are even higher for him, so it either has to be with JP, Kate, or D-Mac, because Liliana at Dr. Williams is something that he can deal with. But let's talk about the Flynns next, and one person who we know is dying is Walter Flynn, because he has lung cancer, but this is something they've caught early, and they can treat it if he wants. But regardless of Walter Flynn's illness, I do think Walter, Claudia, and Vic will make it to season 2, because we haven't seen the end of this internal power struggle, which may end up with Claudia or Vic taking out Walter Flynn themselves. Because we've seen this constant theme throughout the Power universe with Tariq and Ghost, Tommy and Tony Teresi, Sean and Kanan, and even recently in Power Book 2 Ghost, Moni had a plan for Kane to kill Lorenzo, albeit not pull the trigger, so that's something to watch in the future, but not in season 1. But Uncle Paulie is someone who I don't think is safe, because we still don't know whether he's working his own angle, and if he is and Walter Flynn finds out, I'm sure he'll have no issues in pulling the trigger himself. So Uncle Paulie is the only one from the Flynn family who I think is in danger going into episode 9 and 10. But let's talk about the CBI with Diamond, Jannard, Blackston, and Cousin Buddy's crew from Gary. Now, although Jannard needs to go because he's acting too wild and crazy, I do think he'll be around for a while, at least as we go into season 2, but he is causing a problem for both Diamond and Tommy, and sooner or later Diamond will find out his brother is plotting behind his back, and then it's all about what moves he makes next. Does he confront him, or does he play a sucker to catch a sucker, and does he take his time to think about what move to make next? Because the kind of guy Diamond is, he's calm, he's strategic, and he won't make any hasty decisions, and a good example is Dahlia, he's cautious. And I'm sure Diamond is already feeling Jannard out with the conversation that went down in his barbershop in this scene, but I'm sure Jannard will definitely get his cousin Buddy and his crew killed when this war picks up with the Serbs and Tommy. But on Diamond, there are 2 other characters in his life, and one is Adrienne, and the other is Officer Bennigan. Now with Adrienne, she's just a journalist, but then again, we've seen how innocent people get dragged into this game, so let's see what happens with Adrienne. But Officer Bennigan is someone else who keeps on coming back to Diamond, and as I mentioned in my episode 9 trailer breakdown, this is who I think has the gun at the back of Diamond's head, and I do think he's going to be a continuous problem for Diamond. But as Diamond said, he's changed his ways, but Officer Bennigan will never forget about what the CBI drugs did to his sister back in 2006. So again, let's see what happens with this storyline. And the last one is Marshall. Now he was someone who stabbed D-Mac in the back with a move that he made with his cousin, and we actually saw Jannard stabbing Marshall in the back by going directly to his cousin in episode 8. So he got a taste of his own medicine, but again, he's someone who could very well be on the chopping block in episode 9 or 10. But that's a rundown who could be in danger from Tommy's family to Uncle Paulie, and then from the CBI side. But I do think the biggest ones who are in trouble is Tommy's family, and that's with JP, Kate, and D-Mac, because this is something that would really push him over the edge and unleash this inner monster that we so often in Power. So he needs to make sure nobody finds out JP and D-Mac or his family, because I really could see Jannard using this to his advantage, using Law 33 from the 48 Laws of Power, which is discovering Tommy's thumbscrew. But drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section and let me know your death predictions going into the final 2 episodes of the season. So drop all your comments down below, and of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 4 Force and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.